Hello there, and welcome to this session solving tactics on chesstempo.com. Today is 1700 to 1800 mixed. Just go ahead and get started. I believe I actually know the answer to this problem already. I've solved it before. There's no checks against the king, blah, 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 blah. Knight here doesn't work because of bishop takes or knight takes, but bishop f4, threatening rook d2, as well as knight g3 check. So bishop f4, and if the queen moves away, for example, queen f3 or queen e1, I'll have knight g3 check, king h2, knight f1 double check, king h1, trying to find an outright win there, but no, it just looks like it's just the piece. Okay, so he covers that, but I win the knight. Mistakes made in this position, knight f4, knight f4. Knight f4, let's say queen e4. And yeah, there doesn't seem to be much of a follow-up. Does this trap the queen? So after f4, you would need to play queen e3. Or I suppose queen e5 is a move, and then you can play queen e3. So yeah, not a queen trap. And again, I had solved that problem previously, so just came kind of easy. Alright, so if I play rook takes e3, and he plays rook d7 check. Rook takes e3, f6 check, king f7, rook d7, king takes f6, king takes e3. So it doesn't seem to work. Let's try to do it with check then. Let's try to take with check. g5 check, and if king takes g5, knight f7 check, g5 check, and if king f3, rook takes check, king takes knight takes check. There we go. Just a little bit of calculation to make it work. The immediate rook takes e3, yeah, is the most common mistake. But if you play the immediate rook takes e3, there is f6 check and also rook d7 check. Rook d7, king f6, king takes. And rook d7 check. There's also f7 check, king here, rook d7 check, king takes. So neither of these work. Black to move. Threatening promotion. Rook C1. Knight C6. Bishop takes C6. C8 promotion. Rook C1, Knight C6. Rook takes C6, Rook takes C6. And if Bishop takes C6, Rook C, or C8, Queen. So Rook C1 doesn't work, so I would say that Bishop B7 is the only way to stop the pawn. Bishop B7, Rook D8, Rook C1. Is there any point in giving the check first? Check, King D4, or check. No, because if check, Rook D, King D2, then I need to play Bishop B7 and I need to get my rook out of the way. So Bishop B7 only move. Bishop B7, Rook B6, Bishop C8, Rook B8, Bishop anywhere, promotes, Bishop takes, Rook takes, H4. Yeah, this is going to lose a piece. There's no doubt about it. This will lose a piece, but 2 pawns. I think I had that problem before as well. And I actually dismissed the line with Bishop B7. I think I did play Rook C1 in that position. Some way to deflect the queen. Knight takes. Rook takes check, doesn't work. So knight takes, pawn takes, or knight takes, queen takes. Knight takes, queen takes, rook b4. Queen takes c3 check. Rook takes, queen takes, knight takes. Pawn takes is forced. Almost. If he plays queen takes, I can play rook b8 check, king h7. Okay, and yeah, he's fine. King h7, and then if rook f8, there's queen c3 check. And black definitely survives there. So how can I make it work? Unfortunately, I don't see any way to get around into the position. This rook is pinned to the king. Can I do anything with that? Queen d8 check. Queen d8 check. Rook takes d8. Rook takes d8 check. King h7. Rook b8. Threatening checkmate. g5. h5. Again threatening rook h8 mate. If that's the answer, that's insane. Queen check, rook takes, rook check, king h7, rook b8, g5, h5. And there's no way to cover the h8 square. So he needs to give up one of the rooks. So rook here, rook takes f6. f6. Then if rook check, king g7, rook check, king f7. Queen check. No, I have the position in my head. g5, king here. He gives up another rook. Rook takes here. And then he needs to play f6. I can take f6. Threatening rook g7 mate and threatening rook h8 mate. And how does he stop it? If knight takes, rook h8 checkmate. Okay. Take. Wow. Wait, that problem is only rated 1709. That's insane. Okay, so queen check, rook takes d8, king h7, rook b8, threatening rook h8 mate, g5, h5, rook g8, rook takes, f6, takes, and now rook h8 checkmate is unstoppable. That's insane. So that was the line that I considered. The computer gives rook g8 directly, then g5. And yeah, it gives them some really awkward defenses. But yeah, the idea is the same. Rook h8 checkmate or rook g7 checkmate cannot be stopped. Black to move. Bishop b7, rook g8 mate. Rook takes king takes, knight check, so if rook takes check, king takes, queen takes, rook c8, checkmate. If queen takes, rook takes check, king takes, rook c8, checkmate. That's the current threat. It's a good threat. There's also queen h7 checkmate here. So I have to deal with queen h7 mates. What about knight g4? Knight g4, queen takes h3, knight f1, knight f2, checkmate. Knight g4, rook takes g4, queen takes g4. And if queen takes, rook c8, rook g8. Knight g4, if rook takes, if rook takes, I have queen f1 check. Rook g1, queen takes g1, checkmate. So knight here, rook takes, queen f1, checkmate. Knight here, rook takes here, f2 checkmate. Queen takes, f2 checkmate. Knight here, queen takes, bishop takes. Now bishop takes, because if rook takes, he'll take on c8 with check, and I'm going to get mated. So now bishop takes, rook takes, king takes, bishop here. Nice. That's a good one. Mistakes made in this position. Rook takes g1 check. Yeah. So if rook takes g1 check, king takes g1, you have nothing else to do. And if you try for this, checkmate. So you just have to recognize that the pawn holds the g7 square. Queen takes f7 check. Queen takes f7. Knight takes f7. Rook takes c1. Knight takes d6. Queen takes f7, queen takes f7. If rook takes f7, there's bishop takes, and there's also rook takes check. So it's definitely knight takes f7. Yeah, I don't see anything else. So. Not rook takes c1, but rook takes d6. It's a weird problem. Someone played knight takes d7. Knight takes d7, bishop takes knight check. So if knight takes d7, bishop takes f4, knight f6 check, king f8, knight takes f6, knight takes e8, and bishop takes c1. This is the computer line. So the computer line is knight takes d7. Knight takes d7, bishop takes, knight check, king f8, knight takes, and black plays rook takes here. Then if rook takes, bishop takes, and these pawns are going to fall, and you will promote. Someone else is giving a different line, but I think this is the line. The reason why you can't play this is because the passed pawn is too strong. Bishop takes c1, and now bishop takes b2 can't be stopped. If you try to stop it, you just give it up with check. Actually, there's much better, isn't there? So you need to save your knight. So let's say knight c7, bishop takes, rook takes, bishop takes. Now you need to stop this pawn. So knight here. Alright, next problem. Oh, cupcakes are done. Okay. This will be my last one. So bishop takes f3. I mean, if g takes f, queen takes here. But if queen takes f3, then he gets to play this. But then I get to play this. So queen takes f3, pawn takes e4, rook takes d7, pawn takes f3, rook takes e7. Seems fine. What is this? It's 2 rooks, 3 minors. So either way, it's equality. Queen takes, pawn takes, rook takes. Pawn takes, rook takes. Pawn takes, king takes. It's fine. Can I play like an in-between move? No, not really. Queen takes. Knight checks, no good. So yeah, just queen takes f3. Pawn takes, rook takes, pawn takes, rook takes. There's not much more of a point. Dingleren with the black pieces. But this is not like winning or anything. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 3, 6, 7, 6 on 6. Maybe bishop b6 next. Oh wait, I said that was going to be my last one. Bishop d6. Bishop d6 wins a pawn. Can I win more? Bishop d6, queen f6. I would like to play rook e5 maybe, but I can't quite get it to work. So bishop d6, queen f6, bishop takes c5. It's the easy way out. Don't see anything. Rook takes, bishop takes, rook takes. Queen f6. Rook d6. Rook e6. And then rook d8 check. Rook d8 check, knight takes d8, queen takes d8. I don't see it. Don't see it. What about, ooh, hey, not this rook, but this rook. Wow, that took me forever to see. Rook e3. Rook e3, and then the queen goes to d8. then bishop c7. And if king, queen f8, then bishop d6. Yeah. So here, here, here. There we go. That took me forever to see. Wow. I saw this rook coming in, but not this rook coming over. That was weird. Yeah. Yeah, that took me quite some time. Kind of embarrassing. But oh well, that's okay. That was a good set of problems. I was glad to finally have yet another, or I was glad to finally have another winning session. That was a good session for me today. If I can keep the track record, I think I got all of them right today, and I got all of them right yesterday. I got 2 wrong at the end, but for some reason I just didn't feel bad. Like, as long as I can come out of the session with sort of a good attitude and feeling like it was a very productive session where I learned a lot, or where I was very good at solving all of the lines, as long as that happens, then I can build up some confidence and continue learning, continue going up. So I think if I do 2 more sessions just like that, I'll finally move up to 1800 to 1900. Today's Saturday, so maybe I'll just do a double session tomorrow and see if we can go ahead and finally move up to 1800 to 1900. Anyway, thanks so much for being here with me. I hope you learned as much as I did. If this was a little bit too advanced for you or a little bit too weak for you, there are other videos on my channel that you can maybe take a look at. There's nothing much more to say. I hope that you paused the video. I hope that you learned. I hope that you tried to solve the problems yourself. If you didn't, please continue watching the videos and try to develop that technique for yourself next time. Anyways, thank you for watching, and good luck with your chess journey. Bye-bye for now.